Dave, what was the tipping point for you to leave California? Like, if you were to say,
I-
the tipping point was 5 years ago, but I finally made a decision today, or was it like COVID, I'm done, I'm sick of it, let's start looking at different places, and then you looked at Tennessee, Texas, and Florida, and you said, I'm going to go to Florida. What was it?
So I moved to L.A. in 2013. We had about $1,000.
From New York, or where were you?
From New York. So I'm
Okay.
a true New Yorker, born in Brooklyn, grew up in Long Island. I went to SUNY Binghamton. I lived in Manhattan most of my life. So really the only two places as an adult that I've lived until these last 3 months were New York City and L.A. And yet the ideas that I talk about are the stuff that people care about in the middle of the country. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I had these two coasts, and somehow my ideas kind of came to the
And
middle.
when you moved from New York to LA, did you come with that New York, coastal ideology to LA?
Oh yeah, I was a
Okay,
lefty.
exactly.
I worked for the Young Turks. I was a Bernie supporter. All of that. All that stuff. It's true. All of it, as
Baked in
Han
the
Solo
cake.
said. Yeah, it was all true. But there were a couple moments. I mean, look, the 2 years of COVID demolished Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a shell of itself. Hollywood has been destroyed. Okay, so I could do all the basic stuff, the crime, the homelessness, the drugs. I'll tell you what the final moment was, the final straw. And I had been thinking about it for about a year, back and forth. Could I do it? Where was I going to go? Nashville, Dallas, et cetera. I campaigned with Larry Elder for the recall, so I was opening on stage with him and going out there and meeting people, and it was amazing. It was incredible. They called him the black face of white supremacy. That's what the L.A.
Times article, yeah.
Which felt like an Onion headline, by the way, or a Babylon Bee headline.
Onion isn't even that good.
The young woman who threw an egg at him in the gorilla mask. I thought always
somehow the
bugged me.
media didn't pick that one up. It's like it was just extraordinary. Anyway, I'm out there with this guy, and there was such energy. I met so many good people. They were not far right. They weren't even conservatives. Most of them were liberals. They were California liberals who were mugged by reality. They were just good, decent people who suddenly their restaurants were closed, their kids were locked down, all of this stuff. Anyway, the recall obviously was a disaster. And 3 days after the recall, you want the exact moment? Your mind is going to explode. 3 days after the recall, I got audited by the state.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I said, we are
Have
leaving.
you ever been audited before?
I've never been audited before. My stuff's all clean. It was all fine.
Yeah.
We take very good care of all my businesses. 3 days after, got that immediately. Like literally, I think I hung up the phone and I called my real estate agent. I said, "Get me out of here." And we did the house privately. I was sold it in 3 weeks basically, and then I had to really quickly figure out. I always felt that it was going to be Florida, but I love the Blaze guys and I do some stuff with them and Glenn Beck, and Glenn really wanted me in Dallas, so I had a little moment of that. I love the Daily Wire guys and Candace and Ben, and so I did look at one house in Nashville, but I am so happy to be here, and I'm really like. As I said, I'm reborn here. You feel it here in Florida. It's free and it's good.
You said something prior to shooting. You said, I love Florida. I don't. You could curse if you want.
Yeah. There was an F in there. I effing love Florida. It's not just the politics of it that's good. It's what it's doing to the people. I don't know when the last time you guys just went back to New York or went to Cali or just went to some of these blue cities.
He's from Cali. And
I know. So, but I don't know. Have you been there just in the last couple months? I went to L.A. to shoot a PragerU video about a month ago. I said to my guys, I will fly in, go to the studio, and get me the hell out of there. Even though the PragerU studio is a half mile from my house, I guess it would have been nice to go look at it again or something. It was a disaster. I got asked for a vaccine passport to go to Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf.
That makes sense.
Just everything about it. It's rotten. And then even just the greenery. The greenery in Florida is beautiful and wonderful in the trees. And then you go to LA and everything's dying and dead and brown. It's
What the hell happened?
Am I being clear about this? I'm very happy here, and I don't like that place.
And by the way, what was the reasoning why you chose Florida over Dallas and Nashville?
It's partly, I think, because of first off, I have some family here, and we hadn't been in a state with family for a long time. I'm from New York, as I said, so most of my family's East Coast. My folks have a place in Florida. My sister lives in Miami with her husband and kids. Also, because of the tech side of things, obviously Miami is just exploding right now in the tech world, so I wanted to be close to that. But at a political level, for me, as someone that came from the left and I have mostly libertarian views, but I don't mind calling myself a conservative now. There's a wide thing right now happening on the right. You got the disaffected lefties and the libertarians. Then you've got the, sort of evangelical or the Christian conservatives. There really is this movement of trying to figure out, can this thing really hold? because there are a lot of people that have different beliefs, serious beliefs that are very different. I felt the stuff that I care about the most, it's working here in Florida, meaning it's a little more of a secular conservatism as opposed to you go to Nashville or you go to Texas, it's a little more religious. That's not necessarily my thing. I felt that the ideas that I really care about can flourish a little bit more here. So it was a series of things. And, the weather is good and all that stuff.
Pat, tell him with the reasons you wanted to come to Florida.
What?
He was from L.A. He was in Dallas. I mean, he's got some very good, strong opinions.
I knew we were moving out of L.A. in 2012, 2013 when he moved to Plano. And he moved to Plano. He says, you ought to start.
Plano's beautiful.
Yeah. So he says, you got to start looking into Texas.
I'm also a California refugee. I came in 13 to Texas.
Yeah.
And look at us. Look at us now.
Yeah, I came to Florida in 1980, guys. So
when he was born.
I was born here. So
he's from Miami.
Nice try, fellas.
No, but so at that time I started looking at everything. But being Middle Eastern, everybody, it's tough to leave your family, mom, dad, sister, friends, restaurants. Things I went to Glendale High School, so do I want to leave this, relationships I got? And I started looking at it, I said, nope, I cannot build an insurance company being headquartered out of California, no way in the world. So I looked at Central. For me, it was important to go to Texas because I travel a lot. We have a couple 150 offices nationwide, so if I'm going to LA, 3 hours. Florida would have been 6 and back in the time difference. LA would have been 6 and back in time difference. So Dallas made the most sense because I was traveling a ton. If somebody's building a national business, I don't think Florida or California makes sense. I think the best spot to be in is a Dallas, is a Houston, is an Austin, if you travel a ton. And then so we moved to Houston, we moved to Dallas, we lived in Plano for a few years, and then we were right by Addison. Our headquarters was in Addison. And then gradually when COVID hit, I started looking, I said, we got to look at Tennessee, Nashville. I lived in Tennessee for 2 years when I was in the Army. And I said, we're either going to stay here in Dallas. But then I love the water. I love the water, the ocean, California. I mean, I just love that, right? And I said, listen, if California and Texas had a baby, it would be Florida. So I said that was the best combination to come to Florida. And we've been here now for, 13 months, 14 months, and I'm in love just as much as you are. I got to tell you.
So people always say to me, is there anything you don't like? I honestly cannot think of anything. Yes, I could complain about the traffic a little bit, but I lived in New York and LA, so no, I'm not going to. Is there anything?
So, okay, let's do it. Let's be, so, okay, we haven't really experienced a hurricane yet. Okay, so I don't know what a hurricane looks like. I've been through tornado, I've been through wars, I've been through earthquakes. Yeah, okay, we'll see what at least hurricane gives you a warning. Earthquake does not. Tornadoes don't give you too much of a warning. Hurricane, for 2 or 3 days that something's coming, right?
Plus, it was raining fire in LA. I mean, come on. Literally.
Fire,
well,
right.
Dave, you moved here
Speaking
January.
of
The
apocalyptic,
iguanas. You got to give iguanas the credit.
Iguanas are not vicious, but I want to revisit this exact conversation
in August
and September.
I get it. My hair is going to be a little flatter. I get
a lot flatter, Dave.
I get it.
Okay, so if there's 9 months out of the year, this is the best place to be in the world. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
3 months out of the year, go anywhere else. That's my opinion. So every summer I would travel.
I was here for that. And
it's hot as hell here. That's what I'm saying.
It did not bother me when I was here for that.
Well, you're from around, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point right there.
So, I'm at a party with Pat. It was last year at the Bitcoin conference. It was in June last year. And it was hot out. We were at that party outdoors. People are sweating. Pat's wearing a jacket.
Yeah, like,
zero. I'm like, this guy can withstand anything.
It's chilly,
So
man.
exactly.
Yeah.
You want to take the jacket off, Pat? I'm good.
Yeah.
So if you can withstand the heat, like with anything,
Look,
you can take
look,
the heat.
the
you'll
But forget
make it.
about the weather. What was that conference about? That was about a mayor of a major United States city coming out and in favor of crypto and trying to attract innovators
They
and
have,
entrepreneurs
Tom.
to come to his
Right.
city.
Yeah.
Shout out to Suarez.
So forget about exactly. Mayor Suarez is another reason that Florida is so wonderful. I grew up here. I had about 4 years here in high school. My dad's job moved us here, but I was born and raised in California, basically. And we were here. There was a Republican governor. His name was Bob Graham.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a look at like a 1 to 10, and a 10 is Barry Goldwater, and a 1 is Bernie, Bob Graham was like exactly a 5, and he was trying to build jobs. He was trying to be not so tourist and transitory, the snowbirds. And so the seeds of this Florida, I think, go back to 1980. And there's guys like Charlie Crist and now DeSantis that have been faithful to it. And they haven't screwed it up by trying to go way one way or the other. And I think that's one of the benefits. And then a Suarez rises up. Fantastic Hispanic mayor representing every kid that can wake up in Miami in the morning and say, I could be mayor. I could be mayor. Look at that.
I was at an event last night at Keith Raboy's house, and Keith was the one that originally sent the tweet that Suarez responded, "How can I help?" which basically caused the influx. I mean, I would say part of the reason I'm here is because of that. So I was at this event at Raboy's last night, and Suarez was there, and he gave a talk, and I'm standing there watching the guy, and I've met him a couple times. I interviewed him once, and I'm thinking, man, this is so the reverse, 180 reverse of what I was dealing with in L.A. Eric Garcetti was actively destroying. And we can go, okay, were the intentions good or not? That's an interesting conversation. I don't think the intentions are good, actually. I think they are intentionally doing this stuff. But I'm listening to Suarez, and he's talking about how they want to be this international city that will be the hub of crypto and the new economy, and they want to be 30 years ahead of America when it comes to all of this other stuff. And because the federal government is so screwy, we just have to do what we think is right. And then last week, I did a PragerU event where DeSantis spoke, and all DeSantis says is basic honesty. It's not that he's out there saying the most crazy stuff that's riling people up in reality. He's basically saying honest, decent stuff, which is revolutionary in 2022. And it's just such a stark difference, man.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.